Stimuli that may have created that problem. Our stimuli is, for example, was that the Berlin Wall existed and now is no longer existing. So one way what kind of trauma, stimuli we try to avoid, for instance, if somebody has had a car accident that causes a very serious injury, they may avoid cars altogether. They may avoid that intersection that they had the car accident. That's the stimuli that they're afraid of. What happens then is that you develop anxiety and also increased arousal, difficulty sleeping. You become hypervigilant. You have poor concentration. You get this depression-like symptoms. People have suicidal thoughts. They wish they were dead because the anxiety is so intense that they can't live with that experience. They're impaired in their functioning. They can no longer function socially or occupationally. They may feel that they can't go to work. They can't experience the same daily activities as they've always had. They can't go out with their friends. They can't do things that they enjoy. And one of the other major things that happens is you develop somatic complaints. They don't realize sometimes what they are experiencing. Their emotional responses may be different than they realize. And their responses may actually go towards their physical being. What happens is they get GI distress, that's gastrointestinal. They'll get nauseous. They'll have stomach pains. They'll get headaches. People will think they have all kinds of diseases and illnesses when they're not really experiencing it. They become hypochondriasis. Even though they actually may feel these things, they may not be real symptoms. They may have actual, what Ted will be discussing later, is they may actually have symptoms and have physical things, but they may not be what they are afraid of. Just because you have a spot on your skin doesn't mean you have anthrax. Why are we so fearful and anxious and depressed? As I said before, it's the fear of the unknown, that surprise. That's what has happened. We are surprised. And we're waiting for that next surprise, the next shoe to fall. In some ways, the government has been right to tell us we're expecting something else, we need to be alert, we need to be aware. Yes, we do. But is it a good idea to let us be sitting there worrying about the next thing happening every single day? What are we doing to ourselves? We are creating more anxious people. We're becoming more paranoid. Yes, we have to remain a little paranoid because we don't want to be taken by surprise and we want to be alert. So there's got to be a line that's drawn so that we can live our lives and at the same time be aware of what's happening. One of the things that I think why many of us are fearful here in Florida is, and unfortunately Florida is sort of the place it started. We are told that many of the terrorists were living right in our midst. They were living in Deerfield, they were living in Delray, they were living here in Boca Raton. They frequented our supermarkets. They frequented our drugstores.